You know, your body is an absolutely incredible machine. Every single second, it's pulling off thousands of amazing feats, and we don't even notice most of them. So, what if we took a closer look at what's really going on under the hood?
So think about this. You breathe something like 19,000 times a day without even trying. But have you ever stopped and wondered how much of all that air your body really puts to work? Well, the answer is probably not what you think. 19,000. I mean, just let that number sink in for a minute. That's the silent automatic engine inside you just running and running every single day, keeping the whole show going. Okay, so let's break down what's actually happening with all that breathing. We're pulling in this massive amount of air, but how much of the good stuff, the oxygen, are we actually absorbing?
To make this a little easier to picture, let's use a little analogy. Imagine a bunch of soda cans. In just 1 minute, you inhale the equivalent of 27 of those cans full of air. That sounds like a ton, right?
But here's where it gets kind of wild. Of those 27 cans of air, only about 6 of them are actually oxygen. And then, from those 6 cans, your body only manages to absorb 1. Yeah, just 1 single can of oxygen every minute.
It feels a little underwhelming, doesn't it? All that work, all that breathing for 1 little can? You might be thinking, what am I supposed to do with that? But trust me, that 1 can is way, way more powerful than you can imagine.
So, let's see what that single can of oxygen is really capable of. This is where a tiny little pop turns into a massive bang.
Check this out. If you take a balloon filled with just hydrogen gas and light it, you get a little pop. It's kind of neat. But if you add just a little bit of oxygen, or 1 can's worth, and light it, you don't get a pop. You get an explosion, a serious shockwave.
And that is exactly what oxygen does inside your body's cells. It's like a turbocharger. It doesn't create the energy itself, but it unlocks the reactions that release it massively and efficiently. That 1 little can is the key that starts the engine for everything you do.
Okay, so that incredible energy release is happening deep inside you. But what about the signals our body sends us on the outside? Let's decode a few of those common little quirks we all experience.
Ever wondered what a mole actually is? Well, the fancy medical term is a compound melanocytic nevus, which is a mouthful, but really, it's just a common little patch of skin that's a different color. And usually, they're completely harmless.
Now, while most moles are nothing to worry about, the key is to just keep an eye out for any changes. If you notice one changing its shape, getting bigger, changing color, or if it suddenly gets itchy or starts to bleed, that's just your body's way of saying, hey, maybe get this one checked out by a doctor.
All right, let's tackle 2 of the most common and, let's be honest, most annoying physical things we all deal with. That dreaded stitch you get when you run, and that bizarre pins and needles feeling.
So why does your arm or leg fall asleep? It's actually a pretty simple 4-step thing. First, you accidentally cut off the blood flow. Then the nerves in that area, starved for blood and oxygen, just kind of go numb. When you finally move, blood and oxygen come rushing back in, and those nerves suddenly wake up and start firing off all these crazy signals, which your brain reads as that weird, tingly, prickly feeling.
And what about that sharp pain in your side when you run? The stitch. Well, when you exercise hard, your body is trying to send all its blood to your muscles. But if you just ate, your gut is also yelling, hey, I need blood over here to digest. It's basically an internal tug of war for blood, and that pain is your gut complaining. The easy fix? Try not to eat a big meal right before you go for a run.
Okay, for this last part, we're going to bring this whole thing full circle, all the way back to the very beginning, to our first ever connection to life, to food, and yep, to oxygen. Everybody's got one, but what is a belly button really? And why are some innies and others outies? It's actually a direct link to your life before you ever took a single breath of air. See, back when you were in the womb, you obviously couldn't eat or breathe the normal way. Everything you needed to grow and survive came through this amazing little lifeline that connected you to your mom, the umbilical cord.
That cord was your personal delivery service. It brought you blood, it brought you nutrients, and most important for our story today, it brought you oxygen. That was your very first fuel source, the stuff that literally built you from scratch.
So your belly button, it's just a scar. It's a permanent, cool little reminder of your very first connection to life. And whether you have an innie or an outie, that has nothing to do with how the doctor cut the cord. It's just how your unique little scar decided to heal.
So when you think about it, from the explosive power packed into a single can of oxygen to the stories our scars tell, our bodies are just filled with the most amazing science. It kind of makes you wonder, right? If all this is going on without us even knowing, what other incredible secrets is it keeping?